Hey everyone, Dalton Grados with Grados Capital here, and today we're going to be talking about how to trade when you have a full-time job. Now, this is going to be the complete guide. So no matter what type of job you have, whether you do intend to one day be a full-time trader or never intend to be a full-time trader, you just want to have trading to be a supplemental income. Uh, and regardless of if you're able to, even look at the screens during the day or not, you should be able to participate and take advantage of these financial markets and become financially independent and build wealth. So that's what it's all about. So first things first, let's talk about becoming a consistently profitable trader. Whether you intend to trade full time or not, it's going to take a lot of time and effort to actually become profitable as a trader. And so, I don't care what these guys on the internet that are trying to sell you courses, if you just follow my 3-step system, you'll be profitable within a month. If you just take my course or join my Discord, you'll be able to quit your job in 6 months. Joey's testimonial, he was able to make $1 million in his first 2 years. All this stuff. It's all marketing, and it's designed to sell you a product or a course or a membership. The fact of the matter is this: if you are in the middle 68.2% standard deviation of the population, you should plan on about an average of 10,000 hours to actually become a consistently profitable trader. It is hard. It is a skill. You are building a business. Okay, it's just like anything else. If everyone could be a successful trader and rich, well, then you'd see a lot more people that are, right? It's hard. It's going to take 10,000 hours on average, which if you divide out 40 hours a work week dedicated to your trading, that's about 5 years. So 5 years at 40 hours a week gets you 10,000 hours on average. Are you going to see people online? I'm sure you already have, that have been successful in 3 months or 6 months, or they made 100,000 in their first year. Sure, but those are outliers that are in the the top 2%, right? The fact of the matter is that you can learn how to trade and become a profitable trader, but if you're in the majority of the population, it's going to take a lot of time and effort. So you can't really get around the 10,000 hour rule. So you're just going to have to expect that. And so the reason I bring this up is because even if you plan to trade full time, you're going to need a job to support you while you build your business. And it's going to take longer than you think it's going to take. And you're going to want to get to the point where you're making a lot more money than you need from your trading in order to comfortably trade. Because, of course, trading, you can make money, you can lose money, you can be stagnant. And so you want to make sure that at the end of the month, you are profiting way more than your expenses to be able to actually comfortably trade full time. So anyway, we're going to need a job regardless. And when it comes to your involvement, this is ultimately going to come down to, how much time you spend in front of the screen focusing on trading. So obviously you have your long-term investing, you're picking stocks to invest, your prices that you want to get them at, and you're going to hold them for the next 5 years. Of course, that's more passive. You could do that with a full-time job. You don't really need to pay attention to the charts during the day. Selling options is another great strategy, particularly the wheel. You sell puts on stocks you want to own. You don't even really have to look at it. There's no stop loss or take profit. If the options expire worthless, you keep the premium. If you get assigned, then you hold the stock, you sell calls, right? That's the wheel strategy. If you don't know what I'm talking about, but you want something that's kind of passive, that you can make money and not really have to pay attention to the charts, then selling options could be for you, and you can go and learn more about that. And I have some videos on that as well. Okay, of course you have swing trading. So this is probably, the most common for people that want to work a full-time job, um, and they're not able to look at the charts much, is swing trading, which is just holding positions for several days or weeks. So the patterns that we look at on the charts, that if you're a day trader, you might look at the 5, 15, and 1 minute. Well, those same patterns also exist on the daily, weekly, and monthly charts, and they're more solid. The bigger time frame you have, the less randomness you have. And so if you have a trend on the weekly chart, then you could have a good trade setup that you could hold for several weeks. And you set your stops, set your take profits the same, but you don't really have to look at the charts on an intraday basis. You might just look at the close every day and manage it that way. So all three of these, you're much less involved. Of course, can still make money, can still build wealth doing these first three and maintain a full-time job. And, there's no problem there. Where we really get into managing our time when working full-time is with intraday trading and, of course, scalping, where you have to be very involved. You got to be looking at the charts. You got to be quick. You're dealing with smaller time frames. And so with intraday trading and scalping, the first thing I want to say is that we are not going to interrupt our job responsibilities. We want to be of excellence in all fields of our life. Now, you might not even want to be a full-time trader, and honestly, that's great. You want to have multiple sources of income, and if trading can supplement your income, that's awesome, and you never have to have that stress of relying on trading full-time. So this could be for you. Also, you might be a person that you hate your job, and all you want to do is trade full-time. But you are not going to sacrifice your job responsibilities for that, because you should be grateful that you have been given a job to pay your bills while you build your trading business. And how you do one thing is how you do everything. And so it's like that Aristotle quote, excellence is a habit. We are what we repeatedly do. So excellence is not random. It's a habit. We want to bring excellence in all that we do. So, in my last job, I was trading every day. During the day, I made a ton of progress in my trading career, and I was consistently at the top of the leaderboard every month in my job, right? So objectively, like you pull the numbers, there's 50 people that do my job. You pull the numbers, I'm always in the top 5. So you can do both, and I'm proof of it, but you do not want to sacrifice your responsibility at your job. You should be, faithful to your responsibilities. So that's all I'll say on that. If you can absolutely not trade during the day, between 9 and 5 Eastern time, that's okay. We have futures. I trade the futures markets. The great thing about the futures markets is they're open 23 hours a day, 5 days a week. They only close between 5 and 6 p.m. Eastern time, as opposed to the regular stock market hours are 9:30 to 4 Eastern time. Of course, if you're on the West Coast, you can trade the regular market hours from 6:30 a.m. And you could just trade before work, because of course you're 3 hours behind. But if you're on the East Coast and you can't trade during the day, you could trade the futures. Now, the only downside is that outside of the regular market hours, the futures can often trade slow and they're pretty low volume. However, I personally have found that there's pretty good movement in the mornings pre-market around 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Also, the patterns tend to be pretty clean. So there's enough volume most of the time where there's some decent movement, but there's still less volume, and there's usually not news during those times, that time of the day, where the trades they're just clean. So sometimes I prefer trading actually pre-market, and I can be done before work even starts. So that's a great option there. Of course, you can also trade crypto. Crypto's open 24/7. That's not something I do. I think crypto is kind of the Wild West right now. It's not like a big market. Like, I trade the indexes, the NASDAQ, the Dow. Crypto, there's a lot of pump and dumps out there, but I have friends that do it. I have my friends over at Coffee and Crypto YouTube channel. And that's their thing. And so if that's your thing, you can trade crypto outside of work hours. Now, you might be able to actually trade during your work hours if you have a desk job. You have your screens open. Maybe you're just at a desk. You have computer screens. You can have your charts open on the side. So that's great. And you can actually trade during the day. The thing is, of course, you don't want it to, again, interrupt your job responsibilities. So what can we do? Of course, do your prep ahead of time. So at night and in the morning, you should be looking at the charts and determining your zones of interest, where you're going to be looking to get in, and developing your if-then scenarios, right? So if the market reaches this point, I'm going to be looking to get long. Or if it reaches it, kind of reacts, bounces off a supply zone, shows some confirmation, I'm going to be looking to take a position and set alerts. So you don't have to look at the charts. You can just have your alerts go off and then see what you got going on in your charts. And then, of course, once you're in the trade, you can place your stops, place your take profit orders, and then let the trade play out. So you don't need to be glued to the screen. You could be doing your job. It doesn't have to take away from your day. If you've done your prep, you set your alerts, you get in your trade, set your orders, and let the trade play out. So these are all good options for intraday and scalping while you have a full-time job. So hopefully this was helpful. There should be options for everybody, especially in the futures markets that are open 23 hours, 5 days a week. And of course, if you're going to be less involved, you're going to do more swing trading, then you should have no problem trading with a full-time job. But regardless of your goals, if you want to just trade on the side of a full-time career, or if you eventually want to trade full-time, you should be able to do that with a full-time job. So this is Dalton Grados with Grados Capital. Like, comment, subscribe to this channel, and I'll see you guys next time.